And welcome to the celebrated nightly news at Calaveras County. My name is John.
And I'm Kim.
And we thank you for joining us tonight. And I guess this is kind of...
Post-holiday.
Were we on vacation?
No, we weren't. We were on workcation, like always. We just were in a different location.
Well,
right?
I guess with what we do, though.
With the news, the nightly news we were, because there was not a lot of stuff going on during the holidays.
All holiday stuff.
Yeah, it's all kind of family stuff, I guess.
And kind of what we kind of do with ours, because we've been doing this for about almost 3 years now, is that you never really get vacations. You sometimes get little pauses.
You get mainly workations, right? We're always working.
Yeah.
I don't think we've taken a vacation the whole time we've done the Pine Tree, ever. We've always had our laptop or cell phone.
We're not supposed to cry on camera.
No, we're not moaning. we're not feeling sorry for ourselves. We love the pinetree.net.
Thank you very much.
We'll just say we've been up in Bear Valley with our son while he was attending ski training for the race team, and there really hasn't been a whole lot to talk about for the news. So we decided.
But there's been a lot to talk about.
But not on a daily basis. There wasn't.
Well,
I mean, we could have come on air and bored you to death every night, but you know.
Well,
right?
also,
and I chose not to do that. And I was also sick, very sick.
Yeah, she was.
Finally getting better with a chronic sinus infection that's been lasting for about 4 months now.
Bob's got to fix one small thing.
So hopefully now the 4th round of antibiotics will kill whatever this is in my sinuses. So anyway, we welcome you back. We'd like to start off with some sad news this evening. There was a home fire that occurred this afternoon in Mountain Ranch. Mountain Ranch family lost their home to fire. A Mountain Ranch family lost their home to fire early this afternoon. According to CAL FIRE's Jim Duvall, the home almost a complete total loss and was fully engulfed when units from the various districts, including Central Fire, San Andreas, West Point, and Moke Hill, arrived. Central Fire is the lead agency on this fire, and we will provide the fire report as soon as it becomes available, which usually happens in the mornings, as soon as Lisa comes in, I guess. Well, would that be somebody different or no?
It'll be straight from Central.
Okay. The Swiss Ranch residence road home were 2 adults and 3 children. Red Cross is assisting them this evening. There are no official damage estimates or cause of fire as of yet. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the family this evening. That's a hard thing to go through.
And I guess if there is a only silver lining to it, is this is a very generous and caring community.
Yes, and I know they will come together for this family, because they certainly did for the ones in Murphy's that just lost their home recently. They were actually given a home to live in. Given, everybody reached out. Furnishings, clothing. It's amazing how people come together for our community. So, anyway.
Yeah, a little bit of a recap. The last couple weeks is been obviously Christmas, holidays, all the rest of the stuff. But from a news and from a business perspective, some really good things on the economy. Talking to CFO of the Bear Valley Resort, it looks like they will be either even or slightly above last year's numbers, finishing up. Talked to several other people that have had several business owners that said You
mean for year end or just during Christmas time? What do you mean? You mean during the holiday time?
Yeah, I mean for up over last year's time.
Okay.
A couple restaurant owners that said they were up either 7 to 10% over, and I think that bodes well. I mean, I think that one of the things that drives our economy here locally is the snow.
Yes.
Bear Valley, and most of the businesses up here at the top of the hill were rolling like mad. I mean, it was Bear Valley Snowmobile. They were booked out with rentals. Most of the restaurants were doing a brisk business. Hotels were booked out. So it was. I think there's going to be a lot of tired people and tired business owners, because this is the thing where the ski business and the snow business is kind of like, in some ways, like NASCAR, where they have Daytona. They start with the biggest race of the year.
Exactly.
So these poor people up here, it's been nothing, and all of a sudden,
boom!
Here you go. So, but I think it held up well.
It felt good though. It felt good to have that buzz in the air. Yes, it did.
And I think there was a lot of very relieved people that I think with looking at the economic climate and everything else. If you go back and look at historical trends, as long as even in recessionary times, as long as the snow is decent,
people
are
still spending
gas,
money.
Yeah, they were. Interesting thing on one of the vacation rental companies that we talked to that says, what they were seeing is their occupancy rates were the same, but people weren't staying as long.
Okay.
So instead of having a 5-day, they'd do a 3,
but I imagine they were all still booked up for all the holidays. There were a lot of people.
They were.
And what is really cool that I didn't know, about Bear Valley Vacation Rentals up here. And they close the roads during the winter, so all you can do is snowmobile.
Right.
And when you rent a home up here in the village, the people that work at Bear Valley Real Estate actually come and get you, put you on your snowmobile, load your luggage on your little trailer for you, and send you. It's very nice service. It's like first class. I didn't know they did all that. I had no idea.
That's just like I do for you around the house,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Take everything.
It's kind of like valet parking, but only
for all your stuff.
For all your stuff. They load you all up.
I passed one of their snowmobiles today that had 2 trailers behind it.
Yes.
So that must be the Mondo setup.
Yeah.
As you're taking.
Some people kind of set up their little choo-choo train behind them, right?
Yeah.
We have especially for Christmas.
A lot
your
of
Christmas
stuff.
tree, your decorations, your presents, everything like that. So, anyway, so that the last couple of weeks there hasn't really been a whole lot of events. Most of the events occur before the holidays. Have you noticed that?
But there's been some, there's been some interesting ones like the Ironstone Sound of the Season.
That was actually before Christmas, John.
Well, I know, but I mean right before.
Yeah, right before Christmas, which we have a nice video that John took of some local talent.
We do.
On the Pine
That's
Tree
up.
.net.
We've
Yes.
got a lot of little fun
Russ
stuff
Thomas
to look at.
did a song. What else? I can't even remember everything. We have something exciting coming up this weekend, the Bear Valley Slalom Far West Central Series race.
And the interesting thing is, I know we've
Here in
done
Bear
a lot
Valley.
of Bear Valley promos this last couple of weeks, and I think it's important for our local economy. One thing on the local sports stuff is that the Bear Valley Slalom is coming up this weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday. We'll be providing live and same-day coverage of it for you. The other interesting thing is these programs, a lot of times you take these, maybe in some ways for granted in your
You don't
backyards.
realize.
These programs have generated
Kids,
some...
these kids have been training for how many days? They had Christmas Day and New Year's Day off, and that's it. They trained from, Miss Yardson trained from the Friday before Christmas until yesterday.
And then yesterday they were out. He got up at 5, and they
To be
were
out
on
there
the
at
slopes at 6:30 on the
Very
So there
serious.
was. It's interesting.
It's
and these kids are fast. It's kind of scary.
And we have one of the best teams, best coaching here on the West Coast.
Yeah, if you're looking at trying to get your kids into the snow sports programs here locally, the snow sports programs by reputation are probably the best weekend programs on the West Coast. To equal them or surpass them, you really need to go to a full-time academy. Like there's a couple of them up
Mammoth.
at I don't think Mammoth has a
Not
full-time.
Mammoth.
Sugar
what was the
Bowl,
other one?
Squaw, a couple others up at Tahoe.
Okay, the one by LA. What's that one? They don't have a full-time one? Okay.
I don't believe so. I may be
The
wrong.
ones with the
but I don't
bright green
believe so.
jackets. So
They
this
just-
weekend will be the first race
First race,
for the J4, J5s, which is ages 9
Basically up to
through
12.
Yes. Well, actually, there's younger ones. There's even some couple 6-year-olds.
yeah.
Our little guy's not fast enough yet to be on the race team. He wants
No.
to be, but he has to get out of that flying pizza, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So, anyway, that will be happening this weekend. It's also kind of a slow weekend for events. Tomorrow we have an exciting Board of Supervisors meeting. First one of the year, the fireworks are already flying.
It was kind of nice, I have to admit, over the last couple of weeks, because if you followed local county government, 2008 was very, very tiring.
Yes,
it was
it
just
was.
one of those years in following county government that I think not only was it an election cycle, but with the internal, it was just like, when you got to the end of the year on it, it was just like, now, it looks like controversy is sneaking back in the fact that...
And we've known about this.
Oh, we've
John
known
pulled back.
we started taking phone calls on this the last 3 or 4 days, and it was one of those things we didn't really want to talk about it because it's just
No more fireworks. Let's wait till after the meeting, then the fireworks can start,
because
right?
we really don't even know what is going to happen.
Yes,
but
exactly.
if you've been, now that we've teased everybody on it, what it is there's a lot of traditions in the Board of Supervisors that the vice chair one year gets to be the chair the next year. The vice chair this year is
Russ Thomas.
Russ Thomas. So usually the vice chair moves up to the chair position.
Okay.
But
now I was reading somewhere that last year he nominated himself for vice chair, correct?
I'd have to go back and look, but that was
I think I
one
was
of the
reading
things
that
I
in
read that
another
as
media
well.
outlet. Yes, he did nominate himself to vice chair and was voted in.
Right.
So how does that work? The vice chair work normally? Do you know?
Well, normally the vice chair sits in if the chair is absent. So
Okay.
he's been. So,
how is the vice chair chosen? Just by vote also?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't know much about government.
And usually they try to balance it around between districts, so
Okay.
that each district gets a little bit of time to chair the board.
Yes.
So I think.
Okay. So Russ Thomas, assuming, I guess maybe not the way things have always been. I don't know. They've always been worked that way.
Right. Now, there's been some scuttlebutt back and
Working
forth, and
too.
we made some phone calls today. We did talk with Gary Toffanelli today, incoming supervisor for District 1. Don't really know what's going to happen out there tomorrow. There's been some media outlets and some conjecture stuff saying that things that may be introduced tomorrow, motions introduced. Don't know. I think this is one of the things you're going to have to sit and wait, because I think a lot of people think that the scuttlebutt that's may or may not hold true
Can you
tomorrow.
talk about what people may not know what you're talking about?
Okay. There was the rumor going about that incoming Supervisor Toffanelli was going to make a motion that would have either Tom Tryon or Marita Calloway for supervisor chair. A lot of people think that Supervisor Tryon would be too divisive of a candidate, and if you're watching, Tom, no offense, but I think but it would be one of those things to where there was a lot of controversy on the board going back and forth, really hard lines, and that would probably not the easiest one. And I think on some ways, some people felt that Supervisor Thomas would be that, only a little less so. So some people felt that, well, maybe Marita should be supervisor chair, which she was the supervisor chair before, immediately before Claude. So it's been basically 3 years. So she preceded Claudino, who was supervisor chair, and then who preceded Walensky. So she's coming back.
So there's
up for
been
rotation.
rumor, which is not, we don't know if it's true, that Toffanelli was going to motion to have that's
Marita
not,
be supervisor
from
chair.
what he told us.
That is, but that's something that would be highly unusual for a newly
a new
seated
supervisor coming in.
I mean, tomorrow will be his first meeting.
I don't think he would do that on his first meeting.
Well, you never know. Because the point is there comes a meeting dynamic.
Yes.
These meetings sometimes take on a life of their own, as people have seen and watched. But tomorrow's board meeting should be interesting. And if you're looking at this as for the soap opera effect, or
Yes. Which I probably will
the
be.
boredom
I will be there.
effect or
Darn
something,
it.
well, you can watch it. We'll show it
We're
live.
going to be showing it live
that's
at
it.
thepinetree.net.
So, if
and later
you
on,
would,
if you'd like to watch it later, if you don't have a chance to sit at your desk and watch Board of Supervisors meeting,
but
we'll have it up on the site later.
it will be interesting nonetheless. So, even from an entertainment value,
Yes, there's
there probably should
actually
be
some
some
other
of it.
things going on tomorrow at the Board of Supervisors meeting. He and Tom Tryon will both be sworn in, correct?
Correct.
Let me see what else. Find it. There's so much news I have to scroll down. Legal access is back on the agenda. And let me see. Wallace Lake Estates, appointment of planning commissioner and more. Proposition 40 and more.
It will be a full meeting.
Yes, it would be a
and
full
we
day.
have been, I'll be candid. The last couple weeks I've been kind of ignoring it on purpose, just
Yes.
because it was so
Yes.
intense last year. But now, as of tomorrow morning,
There hasn't been any never meetings in 2 weeks, so that's
Right.
that's
Full
what we do.
blown.
Yeah. Tomorrow there's also going to be an Angels Camp meeting, which they are going to be. I thought they were moving the meetings to 5:00. Is that? It said 6:00 on the agenda.
Well, maybe they have to have a motion to move
Okay.
them to.
They will start off with it's going to be the planning city council. They will start off with a joint workshop with the planning commission with assistant planning director David Hannum, giving an update on the 2020 general plan.
General plan update.
The regular city council meeting will follow. Some of the agenda items will be the certification of the 2008 election. Elaine Morris and Craig Turco will take oath of office and will then be seated as new members. The council will then elect a mayor, which I have heard will likely be Mr. Raggio or Mr. Lynch. Approved city council meeting time change from 6 to 5. Okay, so maybe next time it will be at 5 p.m. And letter in response to the Caltrans letter. Remember that letter that they drafted?
Yes.
To
Yes.
Mr. What's his name?
Wilmshurst.
Yeah. Wilmshurst. Oh, it was Mr. Wilmshurst. Okay.
Well, on behalf of his
Yes,
property for
yes,
the access
exactly,
issues.
exactly,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
So looks like a full day of government tomorrow.
It is. No Christmas tomorrow.
No.
No New
Christmas
Year's
is over.
tomorrow. It's.
Yeah, I think the Angels Camp doesn't sound like too much. Well, they're going to be discussing anything bad at the city council meeting. I don't know, but we'll have a new mayor. Right?
Definitely.
We have 2 new seats being filled. So, go ahead, John.
And if you missed things like fireworks over the New Year's, you can watch them.
We have them on the Pine Tree, yes. The Bear Valley fireworks.
The Bear Valley fireworks. These are kind of nice because they do them over snow.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we wanted to say about them, these were very almost too realistic.
They were. I missed them, so.
Because I had ash in my hair.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I was up close taking pictures, but it was just one of those things. It was like, is this 3D? You know, it's like 3D fireworks. You know, you're really close and personal. So
you were that close. I forgot you told me that. Yeah.
But it was very pretty in the fact because let's say if you see the lights come up over the snow, creates quite a thing. On the New Year's celebrations, we didn't get a chance to go by Greenhorn or Ironstone out there because I'm sure they were as well. But we did stop in
they were partying it up, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we stopped at the Nugget instead.
Yeah, we stopped at the Nugget.
Yeah,
it was packed.
The Nugget was packed. But also,
packed.
friends of ours in the band, Plan B with Jim Bailey and the boys, they were in playing there. So to a very packed crowd at the Nugget. Then we went back on up the hill to catch the
fireworks.
The fireworks.
Yes.
Bear Valley traditionally on New Year's Eve is packed. This year was no exception. This year the crowd was a little more subdued because
was it as young? I'm just curious.
No,
I didn't go.
The cover charge.
Last year I felt like an old lady. I'm like,
this
okay,
one they had,
time to go to bed.
This one they had the cover charge.
Last year they didn't. They didn't.
Not
last
as
year?
much.
Oh,
Not as
okay.
much.
So
This was a $20 cover charge that included 2 bands in the lodge. So it was.
Last year we went. We thought, let's go. I mean, it's a very nice event.
Oh yeah.
But we got a room, at the hotel there, and we're down there, and all of a sudden, about 10 o'clock, the young people started showing up. I'm like, somebody asked my 10-year-old to dance, and he about freaked out. So, Mommy, I want to go back up to the room.
It was not that way this year.
No, this year's different.
It was a very nice.
It's actually a very nice event. I mean, it's very.
They had 2 bands.
They
one
do a nice
in
job
the
at the lodge
Cathedral
there.
Lounge in the lodge, and they also had another band
at the new pizza
at
parlor.
The new pizza place,
Yes.
which the new pizza place that's another little success story for.
Doing very well.
Economically, this first couple of weeks, is they've been basically sold out wall to wall.
Did you know you can learn how to cross-country ski? I think this coming weekend.
It is this coming weekend, yeah.
This weekend the 10th for free at Bear Valley Cross Country. Let me see here. We also have a video that John took of Christmas morning on a snowmobile. That was Christmas morning, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think it was. Yes. Because our friend said you saw them come by as they were loading their parents on their 80-year-old parents back on the snowmobile to go back home. We have a nice video that John took of snowmobiling off Fresh Powder in Bear Valley.
And one of the nice things is I think a lot of us locals who don't take advantage of it is you can actually rent snowmobiles here in Bear Valley. It's one of the only places on the West Coast that you can rent snowmobiles without a guide.
Yes.
Because other times you'd have to go, then you'd have basically, for euphemistically, if you're going to have your date on the snowmobile out there, somebody'd have to be chaperoning.
Yes.
Yeah. This way you can go snowmobiling sans chaperone.
Yes. My friends cannot believe that I am staying up here via snowmobile only.
This is our first. It's been a little bit interesting. It's kind of like it is. I mean, you're close to the rest of California, but it's like you moved to Minnesota.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Which has been a lot of fun. We haven't started ice fishing or voted for Al Franken yet, but other than that,
we have a nice video with Pat Ross from the Calaveras County Sheriff's Department Crime Prevention Unit. Pat Ross did a video for us on how to keep your home or business safe in 2009.
Yes.
This was actually a real professional show.
They had cue cards and everything. I was like, whoa.
Very impressed. There was like how many takes?
Well, they had all these different little clips.
How many takes did? How many? I'm just curious. how many takes.
There was like 10 different segments.
Okay, and she did really good. Good on camera, everything.
Yeah,
So we have that for you.
I can take
enjoy.
some pointers.
Yeah.
From that.
Yes, because you're always afraid that you've lost things. So, all we have is Bear Valley stuff to talk about, John. That's all we've been doing the last 2 weeks.
Well, and the interesting is it's kind of self-selecting the fact that if county government shut down for
Yes,
they're
exactly.
on people are a lot of people took their vacations that time and everything else. And one of the things is we try to promote the economic interests of the area, and that was the big deal.
Yes.
And the Hill, interestingly enough, they set a couple attendance records for this time. It was interesting where it wasn't the day after Christmas, but it was like the following Monday that they had their highest attendance. I mean, it was, you go up there, basically, if you're familiar with Bear Valley.
Very crowded.
The cars were parked all the way to the bus lot, which is at the top of the hill. And typically that, if you back them up there, so they had well over 4,000 skiers on the hill.
So this weekend at Bear Valley Cross Country, located on the scenic all-weather Highway 4, they will be hosting this year's Cross Country Winter Trails Day on Saturday the 10th. It's an international event designed to introduce new skiers to the sport while encouraging all skiers to learn about what's new in cross country in a fun and festive atmosphere. And it's free.
Are you going to go do it?
No,
Why don't you?
Our son's racing. I can't miss that.
Well, I mean,
I can't.
Really,
I can't. I know I need to learn to cross country, but not this weekend. You can't miss him race. I haven't missed one yet. There's no way I have to be there. So, anyway, so that's kind of a nice thing. You can learn how to. I would have no clue. I would be. You see all these people out there cross country skiing and snowshoeing.
Well, can you walk? That's all you need to do.
Yeah. Somehow
Paul
I can
Peter
just.
was saying some of the newer equipment. That's basically all you need to do.
It's just walk. It'd be very good
Because
for
if you
us,
can-
John. We should. You know, we could lose a few.
What's that mean?
I just got a notice of an inauguration potluck celebration that is being planned for Barack Obama and Joe Biden on Tuesday, January 20th, 4 p.m. at the home of Dick and Sally Tuttle, Sports Hill Road in McCallum Hill. Join other Calaveras County Democrats in celebrating the inauguration of Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States.
Republicans aren't invited.
I guess not.
Don't
I don't
think
know.
so?
Can we not? Well, we don't. I'm sorry. We're not Republicans. I'm kind of in the middle.
You're not?
No.
Okay.
You know that. Sorry. I was just kidding anyway. So that's kind of cool. So how many people are going to the inauguration? Have you heard the latest update?
Millions.
Like, this is the biggest ever, right?
Oh yeah, it'll be huge. It'll just be huge.
The ball itself, or just the inauguration, not the ball?
Probably just on the mall.
They probably
If
can afford the ball, right? With all these people.
I don't think they can cram a million. I don't think they can cram a couple million in on the
No.
million in there. So
No. There was a Bret Hart School Board meeting this evening.
And tonight we'll let you know, if you look at our site tomorrow morning, we'll let you know their decision on what, this was the one to where they were going to present a final resolution on what was recommended for the renaming of the ball field. And also a little bit thing is there was a community effort underway over in Jackson to see if they can save Prospect Motors.
Yes.
They're urging people
Very
to
sad
email
situation.
the head of GM and also the head of GMAC because GM and GMAC were actually the ones that, I guess,
That
in
made the
essence, pulled the
decision to
plug.
close.
So
There was 80 jobs lost. Had a huge fiscal impact on the economy. I imagine of Amador and also probably over here.
in some ways, yeah.
And also sales tax revenues. So they're urging people to do what, John? Urging to start a letter writing campaign. To General Motors and GMAC, and we have more information on that on the pinetree.net. Like to take a look at that.
Yep.
Which I think is a very, very nice thing because we need that. I mean,
Little tiny bit of rundown on national news. Everybody's.
You didn't talk about the guy that was indicted for illegal
Oh,
firearms.
go ahead.
Possession and drug trafficking. United States Attorney McGregor W. Scott announced today that a federal grand jury indictment against Brandon Russell Sturgill, 31, of Valley Springs, California, for possessing methamphetamine with the intent to distribute it and for being a felon in possession of firearms. The case is a result of a joint investigation by Calaveras County Sheriff's Office and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. It is part of Project SAFE, SAFE. Let me see. Neighborhoods Initiatives, a joint effort between federal, state, and local law enforcement authorities to reduce firearms and violent crime. According to the Assistant United States Attorney Kimberly A. Sanchez, who is prosecuting the case, the indictment resulted from Sturgill's arrest on December 1st after a traffic stop in which deputies recovered more than 50 grams of methamphetamine in a firearm.
I remember reading
That's right,
about
we were
that.
talking about the story. He had a whole store on hand,
Yeah,
right?
he had
everything.
basically a supermarket.
Another firearm was recovered from the defendant's residence pursuant to a search warrant. So he got in lots of trouble.
A little bit on touch of national news.
Well, if convicted, he
if convicted.
could face a maximum of 50 years in prison. So you don't hear a lot of hardcore cases like that in Calaveras
Not
County.
much.
Now,
Touch
what about
on
the trading
national-
cards?
Oh, okay.
Sorry, John.
All right. Okay.
Gotta talk local first.
You got it.
Local first.
Well, we just won't get to national.
Maybe not tonight.
Yeah. Go the trading cards. Go, go, go.
Why don't you talk about the trading cards?
All right.
Deputy Sheriff's trading cards now available, kids. Collect them all and enter to win a new bicycle.
And
Very
for
cool.
ages 6 to 12, if you remember, they did this 3 or 4 years ago. You can collect trading cards with all the sheriff's deputies on there. So,
Yes.
very cool.
These colorful trading cards are similar to baseball trading cards, and they feature photos, biographical information, and advice provided by members of the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office. In addition to being fun to collect and trade, the cards bring kids and law enforcement personnel together to build understanding. See, you must have copied and pasted this because there's a typo. They have typos
You didn't
too.
fix it?
No, there's one I didn't
Man,
see. See, the sheriff's office, they are guilty of typos a lot because they're in a hurry. Kind of like we are,
See,
right?
I thought you were supposed to do, yeah.
I didn't.
okay.
I tried.
All right.
Didn't miss Brig. Sorry. The contest begins on January 12th. Will continue until June 12th. 5 grand prizes. New BMX bikes will be awarded to the winners of the contest to complete the set of all 67. You know, maybe we should do something like this for Grayson. Because
6 to 12.
Yeah, maybe both boys.
Both boys, they could do it.
That would be kind of fun, actually.
Can I do a minute
They
on
could both
national
use
news?
new bikes.
They could.
Go ahead.
Now, the interesting thing is all the transition stuff to the Obama presidency is happening, all of his appointments. Boy, interesting stuff. Richardson backed out, Governor Richardson backed out, who was going to go for commerce.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't know that.
He backed out for some stuff. And he also nominated Leon Panetta to be CIA director, and then Senator Dianne Feinstein didn't think that he's qualified. So there's a little bit of infighting on that.
Wow.
So this is
okay.
they're no longer singing Kumbaya.
Oh, they're
a little
not?
Bit. No,
That's
it
over.
is, I think it's over.
It's always over when they finally get in office.
I think it's over. It's
Yes.
getting there close to it. An interesting thing is Ian Coulter, the controversial Republican conservative writer. In essence, earlier today, the word was that she was going to be banned from life for NBC. Would not be allowed to be on MSNBC, NBC, persona non grata. And now, under pressure, they're backing off a little bit because she is controversial and she does drive ratings. But interesting thing to where she was persona non grata for at least most of a day. And the other thing is the feds are eyeing a $175 cow tax for climate change.
Okay.
And also on a little bit of a nerdly thing, Steve Jobs, the CEO of Apple, says he is being treated for a nutritional ailment, and that is why he has
so
been
skinny.
so
Oh.
skinny. So, because I guess a little more
does.
details. So part of that was part of his stomach was removed, and some other things when he had his
He does
cancer
not have
surgery.
cancer back.
No, and also the sad stuff that everybody's been following on the Travolta
Oh,
family.
that's very awful.
Loss of their son.
Picture typos here, John.
Loss of a son over the weekend.
Yeah,
and
16 years old. Very
That's sad. And we'll be back tomorrow night. We
Yes.
thank you very much. Have a great evening, and join us right here live shortly after 9 a.m. for Board of Supervisors. And
Well,
it
at the
should
Pine
be
Tree.
At thepinetree.net.
Yes.
And it should be fun.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.